Good morning, guys. We are here at the garden with Weedin again today. It is the 14th of July. Last week we joined Harris from Green Horizon and he showed us the infrastructure and automation, all the ins and outs here. Today we'll be joining Don from APMS as he shows us how the soil composition works and how we get living soil. So let's get into it. We go join Don. Take the story now. Like how long prior to planting do you have to prepare your soil?
A couple of months is good. When you won't have time to prepare it and give it a lot of extra life and boomer. But now till we plant in December, we're going to work on the soil. So we're filling the tires up. We had a problem with grass growing through.
Yeah.
So we put a black plastic down and we do a cardboard. Fantastic, worms love it. It's a great place for all the different fungi and bacteria to congregate. It helps with the drainage, slows it down a bit, and it's definitely for the worms. We do a type of a hoo-ho culture. We'll fill half the tire with compost, which you see there.
Yeah.
Gummy bears.
Gummy bear juice.
Did you catch the gummy bears this morning? It's cow, goat shit,
Goat shit?
and some compost and more goat shit there.
Okay. What happens with it? You put it into the soil?
Yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah.
The hole, you see there's a hole. You cut there like a long drop.
And then we'll top it with our grow medium, our soil, which we've been working on for a while, but we've just had 2 plantings gone through. So get our tire like this, get the dripper on. So we've got a quarter compost and the rest medium. We'll sow now a cover crop, put mulch on, and we'll start feeding it teas. We start with EM, we do worm and comfrey teas. It's got EM and this is EM and comfrey. This is ready to go.
Okay, so we're going to do an EM and cannabis leaf.
Yeah, so you can make a movie.
Perfect.
See, there's the 1 tea already. This tea should be high in nitrogen. We'll be looking for. We'll test it when it's finished. But so there's the beach. You chuck it in there, the EM, fill it up with water, give it a stir, put a lid on.
So guys, I'm gonna take the skid. I'm gonna point in here. And just throw it in there. Oh, beans.
Oh, that's going to be a strong brew.
Think that's enough for that?
Yo. I'll drink that.
Now we're gonna put some enzymes in there. Just
What
to
is
break
it?
down- Yeah, this is here. This is to break down the buds and the comfrey that's gonna be added on afterwards.
We're going to add comfrey in there as well.
Yes,
Okay.
that's in a later stage in a week's time. So now for this, hold the tub in there. I just need to go switch on the tap. That's it.
A plant takes in sunlight and carbon dioxide and it makes starches and sugars out of it. That it uses to grow and bear fruit, but a large portion of that is put out through the roots. And the reason why the plants do this is that there are beneficial bacteria and fungi that form around the roots. The plant doesn't live off those, but you get predatory fungal and bacterial enzymes that then eat this type. It's like a web almost around the roots. Eat this, and what they excrete is in a form that the plants can uptake the nutrients. So there is always nutrients in soil, but the plant can't always access it. And by getting a living soil, enabling the plant to get food easier. So you don't always have to put a lot of food in. So we're only organic, and fertilizer or food for the soil costs money. So by going this way, you save not only the environment, because you're not using nitrogen-based fertilizers, so you're saving on that whole process. And a lot of those fertilizers get run off. That's we get algal blooms, runs into the rivers. So we don't go that way. We feed our soil, get our soil alive, which enables the plant to get the food we give it and uptake it quickly. And that's why this whole living soil thing is so important to us.
All right, so a composition of a good ideal soil.
Well, you want something that definitely doesn't compact. It mustn't be too light or too compact. It must drain well.
Okay.
And then it must have a lot of stuff to convert into. Like, so this compost in the next 3-4 months is going to break down totally with the T's and the EM. And in this, you're going to start getting a lot of that living enzymes and bacteria and fungi that break it down and make the food in this available to the plant.
Right. So your soil should basically be alive, full of microorganisms.
That's what we want, as opposed to if you're growing in an indoor or in a medium where you're just feeding and flushing. We have a living soil. It's a lot less expensive and a lot more organic in farms. We don't use any inorganic fertilizers or compounds at all.
Okay.
Nothing.
So where do you source your compost from?
Well, this is just garden trimmings from the farm. We've had guys who work in landscaping, and they've got compost bins up there, and we put the compost on, roast it with EM, keep it nice and warm, and it starts breaking down. So it's just garden clippings, really. If you look at this is all from garden service and from the farm. It's all different plant materials and clippings, and it's going to still break down more, but once it's in the soil, it's going to break down very quickly. If you take the cardboard that we've had under the tires and put that in,
Yeah.
all the scrap will go in.
Okay.
And this, if you look at this
Like that
cardboard,
scrap lying there, yeah.
this has been eaten. There's mycelium, this is full of beneficial bacteria and microbes, and once it's in the tire,
Okay, so you
compost on top, it breaks down, and that's already got all the spores of all these fungi and bacteria that we want is lying in that cardboard.
Hey.
Cardboard makes a great, it breaks down easily. It's great in compost. Our worm farm thrives on cardboard. They love it.
on cardboard.
They lay eggs in it, and you know, when we lifted the tires, you could see the bacteria and the fungi on the cardboard.
Oh,
Worm
yes.
eggs, worms living in there, so it's perfect. It gives them like a nice little place to breathe and live and carry on. It stays nice and moist. But yeah, what we'll do is we'll put compost to here, another tire, and top it with the soil.
With some soil.
With our soil. This is the soil we've taken out. We're not in a position to get new soil every time, a new medium, so we use our soil again. But
You reuse it. Oh, you reuse the soil and amend it.
Yeah, we add to it, but basically we're in a position where we have to. In the teas that we start giving it now, we'll add rock phosphate, mycorrhizae, but first it's got a few months to go. The cover crop that we plant, we like clover, but that's a nitrogen fixing cover crop, which adds nitrogen to your soil. There's little, you could use beans, but clover is nice and easy for us. It's a soft root, and we'll plant a cover crop, let it grow out like that, just dig it in and put another cover crop on top. So we'll do cover crop about 3 times all over before December. As soon as we finish this side, we'll cover crop and tea it, and then we start that side.
So you cover crop it with clovers.
We use clover.
And the clover's roots doesn't interfere with cannabis.
It's a nice soft, we don't let them get too big.
Okay.
Clover's not like lucerne or something that has a very hard or woody stem. It's very soft, so it's easy just to dig in. It breaks down quickly.
All right.
Adds power to the soil.
This is now a bikkie van a noob question. I'm not so sure about this, but do you guys add, like when you mend your soil, do you add teas to it, like the worm tea and the comfrey tea?
Once it's finished here, now we'll start with EM, and then we'll do worm and comfrey tea. Just weekly, you don't have to overdo it.
Okay, so you feed your soil then as well, even whilst there's no plants in there.
That's with the teas we're giving is food and promotes rapid growth of all the bacteria and fungi that we want
And the EM, does that just help to make the nutrients available to the plant?
Efficient microbiology, it's an amazing product. It breaks things down quickly, so as a composter it's great. It does feed the soil. And there are various organic products where you can. There's Explo Grow, Madumbi, Natal has a product where you can, there's 2 applications per grow, but this is full of all your beneficial bacteria, so that you can buy organic teas. Explo Grow is pretty good, and Madumbi does a similar thing with about 30 or 40 different type of fungi and bacteria in. Fungi and bacteria in your soil, you need predatory ones too, because they eat the other fungi and bacteria, and this is what they excrete is readily available for your plant. So it's a whole process. It's just getting your soil alive. You know, in the process of getting your soil alive, you don't want to have heavy nutrients and make it what they call a hot soil that's going to burn your plant. We just want our soil alive. Because once the grow is planted, we'll feed the grow, and whatever we feed it will be easily uptakeable for the plants because the soil's breaking it down so quickly. The soil's alive. We're pretty much using boxes we get from the supermarkets and the dustbin areas. Plastic we had to buy, it's one of those things. Tires is from landfills. So we're actually doing a lot of good at the same time too. But it's a slow process, you know, labor-wise. You can do it in 2 days with 15 people or 10 people.
Okay.
But budget is part of it, you know, we're poor.
So we're trying to do it as
we're not doing this for profit, so we don't have much money to play with. You know, the members are really funding this by their contributions, if you know what I'm saying. There's not that much left, but slowly, we'll have this finished by end of the month. If you want a balanced soil, you know, it's not only your nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, you need irons, calcium, boron, there's a whole list of things, but soil actually has pretty much all of that in. You may have to add our soil. We do send our soil for testing.
Okay.
Our top medium, so we'll test this and we're waiting for the results to get back. That will give us our NPK, how much iron, calcium, magnesium, all the elements necessary for successful growth.